All right. Well, we are here at Faces of First Atlanta. This is episode 3 with Heather, and I want to make sure I pronounce the last name correctly. It's
All 10 of them.
Vanderland Cummings, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. So welcome. This is our first digital Faces of First Atlanta. You're at your house and I'm up here at the office. So welcome. New times, digital becomes our reality, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm doing more and more of these Zoom meetings lately.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I am excited to hear all about you, your journey, your story. Tell me, what's the story of Heather? Yeah.
Well, I got into real estate this past February was 7 years ago. So it seems like it's flown by. Before that, I went to college in Virginia at Radford University, and I went to school for interior design.
Okay.
And also
so in Virginia, is that in Richmond?
It's just outside of Roanoke near Blacksburg.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I got a scholarship to go there for interior design. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, look, not saying much, but looking behind you, it looks like you're a little bit of a designer, I can tell. I see your shelves back there. So your dream growing up was interior design?
I was going to be an interior designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun because I still feel like I get to use it, especially in all the listings. So yeah. I like that part.
Like going in and staging, and that might be a little bit of your, the extra love you show, right?
Exactly, and that's kind of where I specialize with my listings, is staging all of them up.
Okay, so you get out of school.
Yeah, I graduated and went to Charleston, South Carolina. And for just over a year, I designed custom cabinetry for kitchens and bathrooms in all of the big houses on Isle of Palms, Daniel Island, wow. Sullivan's, Kiowa, all of that. It was amazing. I mean, we were right next to like Tara Lipinski's house. It was crazy.
So here you are, young, fresh out of college, living a fantasy interior design world dream, right?
Exactly. Going to the beach every weekend. It was wonderful. But Charleston kind of had a glass ceiling, and I could kind of see it pretty quick. So I actually ended up switching into commercial design and design senior living. First in Columbia, South Carolina, and then that brought me to DC. A firm moved me up there to design senior living communities.
Okay.
So I did that for about 3 years.
What is that like? Are you designing the decorations or the whole start to finish? What?
It was interior architecture. So figuring out the millwork to all the details for the cabinetry, the layouts, figuring out, if someone's leaving the salon, if they're not going to hit a fire rated door and set off all the alarms in the building.
Yeah.
And also figuring out, okay, where is Joe going to hide his liquor at the community bar?
Yeah.
So it was fun because it felt like we were designing a space for someone to actually enjoy and live in, but at the same time, it made their life a little bit better. And it was everything from, I worked on sunrise buildings up to like the custom, like $1 million penthouse that people would go live in the fancy pants senior living communities.
Very cool.
So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy living in DC?
DC was great. So I loved
you've gone from Virginia to Charleston to Columbia to DC.
I called it my witness protection lifestyle.
Okay.
For a few years, I felt like I was moving nonstop.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. DC was great. I was super involved, and I helped lead tours at a museum down there. I was very involved in junior league there. And I really enjoyed just getting out and enjoying the city because there was so much right at your doorstep. But the market tanked real quick. And all of a sudden, all these projects we were working on and staying up late till like 12, 1 in the morning to finish the projects, everything got shelved.
And this is 2008, 9, and 10?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm in DC. I've got to make sure I still have a way to pay my bills. Half the firm got let go, and I was still there, but we'd been cut in pay. So I heard of a rep job that opened up, and I went to sell tile for Dow Tile.
Mhm.
and was selling them to all the architects and designers in the city. So helping specify everything from hotels to restaurants to all of that. That's kind of where I got my start in sales.
Cool.
So I
You've
loved
got
it. That
coming together for me. You got the blend of interior design, some sales, big home real estate design.
mhm.
I'm seeing it. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
But what's cool is it was more soft sales, similar to real estate, where you're not like hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. You're creating the relationships with everyone. And I had the opportunity to move back to Atlanta with Dow Tile. And so I created the same community amongst all the designers here in Atlanta. And I threw my back out, lifting all the tile around. And it was just like, okay, at a certain point, I can't lift all this anymore.
Right.
Um, so it kind of was like the opening, like opened my eyes to say, okay, it's time to make a shift. And I always wanted to get into real estate. So Mary McMath had helped us out. We bought a house, a townhouse, and poor girl, I interviewed her the entire time we were out looking for a house.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, yeah, I'm just switching over from her previous firm to KW. And she was like, you got to come meet John Fountain. Come meet him. He's great. Sat down, and 2 months later, I was officially part of the office.
Oh, well. Okay, so before we jump into your real estate journey,
Yeah.
what are some of the life lessons you think you picked up along the way through your interior design career on into the sales career that you see translate to your success in real estate?
So from interior design, I would say it's just creating an atmosphere which, people can live your life within. And so in the design process, we always sat down at the very beginning and talked about like, okay, what does your life look like? How are we going to make sure that the space we design functions the way you need it to, so that it's as easy as possible for you? And I see that a lot in the way that we do our initial consult for buyers and sellers. So helping
Okay,
to make sure that the space matches the family.
perfect.
And then with the tile sales, I would say I was really scared going into sales, to be honest. I was terrified of the commissions part. However, when I shifted and started to realize it was all about the relationship and getting into relationship with all these designers and businesses all over Atlanta and DC, it helped because it made me realize don't focus so much on the commission, but focus on the people, and the sales will follow. And it did. And so that helped me get the confidence to say, okay, we can shift and we can do this in real estate. And what was funny is the first few years in real estate, half my business came from all those designers that I worked with, because they knew that the same level of attention to detail I gave them in the tile world, I was going to do in real estate too.
And it was relationships 101, right?
Yeah,
Building
100%.
relationships, and you probably took that knowledge and brought it into your real estate business as well, right?
Exactly. And I'm still good friends with so many of them as well.
Awesome. So John Fountain interviews you, you get your license, and away we go, right? Success
Yes.
from the get-go, I'm sure.
Valentine's Day was the day I took my test and came on in.
Okay, so talk to me. How's your journey in real estate been? You're 7 years into this thing, so I'm guessing the first year was interesting. Tell me about that.
First year, it was still kind of slow with the whole market picking up and doing all of that. I did, what was it? So John used to always have all the agents come in and speak in team meeting, which I really enjoyed, because I feel like you get the most out of people when you're learning the same way as this. There's always nuggets to pick up.
Yep.
I remember Kelly Day in one of her interviews said, when the market was really rough, I was going to hustle. And she did a bunch of leases. So that first year, the first 2 months, I was a showing assistant for Mary McMath. I did 12 different leases within a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because it was like, listen, we got to make some money.
Yep.
My husband, now the boyfriend at the time, I called him my sugar daddy because he was helping get me through all of this. I I was like, I'm not going to be freeloading off of someone for more than a month.
Yeah.
And it was just hustle. Like whatever you needed to do, we were going to do it. And so let's see, I got my license in February. I officially started in March. And by May, I had my first closing.
Okay. 3 months in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I immediately, my first day was also Ignite. So that got me launched real quick as well. I called it boot camp. I loved it.
Yeah. So you plugged into the learning environment. You came in with a mindset of hustling and grit, and you're going to do whatever it takes. And you weren't immune to doing some work. One theme I'm listening in your story is it's not that you don't ever get uncomfortable. Because I heard you say you were really nervous about doing sales before. I'm hearing you, there was some uncomfortableness your first couple of months in real estate, but you are certainly that quote, they say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's when growth happens.
Exactly.
And it sounds like that's kind of a theme that's popping up in your story here.
If anyone ever tells me I can't do it, I'm going to go and do it 120%.
Okay.
You're not going to tell me I'm not going to do it. So that used to be
that down so I can challenge you to something big.
that used to be my driver,
Yep.
my why at the beginning. I used to be super shy and timid, and I'm still fairly shy. So if I'm not like super outgoing and not chatting with someone in the hallway, don't take it personal. It's more just like me being shy and assuming you don't know who I am. And at the same time, like I love Keller Williams because it's taught me to fail forward and learning that, it's okay to, have some setbacks and keep going. I think one major aha for me over the last few years has been follow the models. They're there for a reason, because I definitely tried to come in and be creative at the beginning, which was great. I had a lot of fun and I was successful. And we've got this MREA book for a reason, and it works.
It's funny. I tell people, if you had looked at real estate before that book was written, it would have looked a whole lot like chaos, right? Everybody was doing all these different things, and this person had their success this way, and this person had their success this way. What happened is you take chaos and you put a little research to it. And after enough research, the best practices show up. And that's how Gary wrote that book, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's really a best practice on how to succeed at a high level. And you and others, I think, have recognized that follow the model, the best practices is the shortest path to big success, right?
Yeah, we're reading it as a team right now again.
Yep.
And it's funny because Riley came in one day when we were reading it the other week, and she was like, it's so funny. I never really understood where you got this and this from. And oh my gosh, you're just following the model verbatim. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So you're a great testament to that. So, okay, so catch me up. So 7 years, I'm sure there were some big success milestones you've crushed. Tell me about that.
Well, we've started dabbling our toe into the luxury market, which we really enjoy. Although our main bread and butter is like, the 400 range, 400 to 600s. And let's see, we've consistently been in the top 10 past few years, which we enjoy. So now our goal, before last year we were a team, this year we're a group. So it's like, okay, we're swimming with a big fish now.
Yeah, all new category.
Making sure we don't get lost in that hustle.
What was some of the milestones you hit along the way that you were really proud of and might have been hard to hit?
I think the biggest milestones for me has been the team and growing the team. Because the second that we got, so I've had, good people in the past, but the second I brought Abigail in and then Riley, it just feels like everything's clicking in a way that it wasn't before. So I would say like mastering more of the hiring process and getting comfortable around that has been, I think, one of my biggest successes.
Awesome. Can I dare ask what one of your biggest failures was?
I've failed in hiring a few times.
Okay.
Um, because I think, naturally we all try and sell ourselves to the happiest person we're interviewing. And then we forget to really dig into who's this person going to be working with. And I've failed a few times there.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It was just like, at a certain point you look at yourself and say, okay, I brought the wrong person into the team, and then you just keep going. What's really fun for me is to see that we all come to work with the same vision, and knowing that, okay, if I'm passing my best friends off to work with Riley as a buyer's agent, I know that they're going to be in really good hands.
So really your biggest success and failures have all been around you growing this team, right?
Yeah.
And
My dad was
that's a journey, not an event, right?
Oh, big time.
How many times have you taken career visioning?
4 times now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're an expert?
No. It's like bold. I've taken that 9 times now, and I still feel like I pick something new up each time I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were attributing your success to a couple things that you guys do that might seem so simple to some of us, but you'd kind of put your flag in the ground around these things. What do you think your success comes from?
So let's see, about 3 years into real estate, my coach and I got really serious about my 36 touch.
Okay.
And it kind of goes back to the relationship bit. And that is where majority of my business comes from. Between my sphere, and I'm in a networking group for BNI, I would say it's 98% of my business.
Okay, so you're a relationship-based agent, right?
Big time. So
Yeah.
I'm not geographically located, but more all over with lots of people.
Gotcha. So tell me what that looks like. So get serious with your 36 touch. Once again, that sounds so simple, but I'm betting it was a little bit of a mountain to climb, right?
Yeah, and I would say it's also, it's constantly a mountain to climb, because you have to make sure you stay on top of it so that it goes out each month and happens. Whereas, you get busy and you're like, oh God, I got to do this.
Yep.
But we do client events, everything from, we do like a Top Golf event called Masters of Real Estate. We've done like Oktoberfest. We've done pie events. We're doing pictures with Santa Claus this year. So it's all about like, how do we get people around each other? And we do a big green egg giveaway around football time. It's just fun getting everyone together and having a reason to see them and a reason to call them, as opposed to saying, hey, do you have a referral? And on top of it, it's birthday cards and mailers talking about what's going on in the neighborhood and going on in the market right now. So I just think I was never the one to call like on a cold call type person. I'm more I'd like to call and just see how, your daughter's doing or your dog is, and get to know the person behind it.
Perfect. So you got serious on your 36 touch. That's what some of the success came from. What else?
Let's see. I would say getting more intentional with taking on listings.
Okay.
So
tell me about that. I think that's one of the hardest leaps in real estate.
I really like the listing side of it, because it brings in the interior design and the marketing side, which is brings in the creative side for what I love to do. And what's nice is it started getting to the point where you start to get referrals from other listings, and it just kind of snowballs and keeps growing. I would say this year we've really taken off with listings, just because I've taken myself out of the buyer game. So to the point where last week we listed 3, we're doing 5 a month. And so it's starting to be more consistent by just focusing on it. It's that whole what you focus on expands thing.
Yep.
And it's
so 5 a month. What's your goal?
My goal is 40 for the year. 40
okay.
listings.
And where are you at?
We have a gap of 12. So
okay.
we've got some to catch up.
With what? 4 months ago?
Yep.
September, October, November. Yeah,
Totally doable.
you can do that. 3 a month, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Don't
What's
tell
so
you.
fun though
Yeah, right.
is starting to see like leads pick up from the listings and creating a whole marketing plan around that to like, okay, how can we funnel as many leads from every listing that we post up, even as they're going under contract in days.
Yeah,
So like that part's fun.
I love it. If I meet you in 5 years, what am I going to meet? Who am I going to meet? Who are you going to become in the next 5 years?
Well, I'll be a mom. So November we're due.
Mhm.
And I still intend to be in real estate big time. But I'd like to be at the point where maybe I'm not as active in the listing side. Maybe I'm doing 2 or 3 a month and then able to step out and have other people doing listings and other people doing buyers, but still be in a coaching and training role of some sort. Because I really enjoy watching other people grow and seeing their success.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
awesome. So, well, speaking of, if you were going to write a book,
Yeah.
or there was a TED talk on that was featuring you, what's the topic?
I would say perseverance.
Okay. So what does that mean? I mean, I know what the
Fail,
word means, but
fail forward. Don't be afraid don't be afraid to try. Um, because the more you try, the more you put your head to it, you're going to surprise yourself even.
yeah. So that
So,
kind of goes to the being uncomfortable conversation we were having earlier, right?
yeah, have
That's
faith in
really
yourself.
one way to define perseverance is get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. Heather, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here and doing episode 3, our first virtual Faces of First Atlanta.
Thank you
And
for having me on. I appreciate it.
some wisdom from you because you're very successful. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Brett.
Have a good one.